Let's start all over again. Okay, so today, okay. Hello. This is the first installment of the Mobuku Chronicles. What the Mobuku Chronicles are all about will become apparent during the course of time. It is today, February the 9th, in the year 2011. And I am going to first set the scene of what is happening in the world and how this will impact every human being on Earth. What I'm holding in my hand here is a bulletin or put out by some people who call themselves the Global Europe Anticipation Bulletin. And this is a public announcement that they put out on January the 16th of this year. And it marks the 5th anniversary of their inception. They started doing this in January 2006. And the headline for this particular issue is 2011, the ruthless year at the crossroads of three roads of global chaos. So I'm going to read some excerpts from this because this sets the scene. I've been following these people for well, since they started, and what they have been mapping out over the past few years is what you might call disintegration, dislocation, and breaking up of the world political arena. And so I'm going to read some excerpts from here, and you can get this thing online yourself. Just put in Google Global Europe Anticipation Bulletin, and this is number 51. Thus, we believe that 2011 will globally be the most chaotic year since 2006, the date of the beginning of our work on the crisis. In this issue, our team has focused on 32 anticipations for 2011, which also include a number of recommendations to deal with future shocks. Now, my purpose for doing this is to alert you to what's happening, which you may not, or you may be aware of, in all its ramifications, ecologically, economically, climatologically, socially, medically, environmentally, in any way you care to name. And so the diagnosis is I'm going to be diagnosing this using various sources of information, and will be prescribing a treatment which every human being and every individual can undertake if they so wish after they have received this information. So this is a personal recommendation from my standpoint of what I have learned through my entire life and through 35 years plus of teaching and counseling, macrobiotic philosophy and practices, as well as studying the work of Rudolf Steiner for over 30 years, or close to it. So to continue, it says here, a bloodless international system. Now what does that mean? Bloodless essentially means that the monetary system, such as it is becoming anemic. Because money functions to the social organism like blood functions to the human organism. That's a direct quote from Rudolf Steiner. So what they're basically saying here is that the international community is fundamentally broken. That's what they're saying, which is not surprising, which will become apparent over the course of several episodes or chapters of the Mobuku Chronicles. So now, let us take a few samples from this particular report. Okay, the other thing I want to say about this is not just being something that has transpired overnight. This is the events that are taking place in the world today have been unfolding since at least the year 1913, specifically December the 24th, 1913. But I can trace it further back to the mid-17th century. In other words, I believe that what's happening today is not unplanned. It is a deliberate plan that has been put into place by certain, shall we say, entities, who I will describe at some point down the road. But what I'm interested in doing now is to lay the groundwork, lay the scene, set the scene, the background, not the background, the actual events that are taking place. So, since the mid-2000s at least, all the major global players, at their head, of course, the United States and their cortege of Western countries, do no more than give out information or gesticulation. In reality, all bets are off. The crisis ball rolls and everyone holds their breath so it doesn't fall on their square. But gradually, the increasing risk and issues of the crisis have changed the casino's roulette wheel into a 2011 version of Russian roulette, which is called American roulette. And the difference between the two is, in the Russian roulette, there's one, there's 6 chambers to a revolver. And in Russian roulette, 5 chambers are empty. Only one has the bullet. In American roulette, only 1 chamber is empty, and 5 of the chambers have bullets. So the odds are very, shall we say, grim. Okay, so now the big problem that's facing the world as a result of the, shall we say, the policies, the plans that have been put into effect over the course of the last, well, as I say, 400 years, is the problem of food. Now, there's 2 aspects to this problem. One is what we put in our bodies, which I'll get to later, and the other one is the cost. Right now, around North Africa and the Middle East, and various other countries too, food prices are going up, and which is the basic cause for the rioting and the social and political unrest that is going on. Because those poorer countries, to them, they spend 50% of their monthly income on food, whereas Americans, according to the data, spend only 10% of their monthly income on food. For those of them, when food prices go up, the poorer countries are much harder hit, and they feel it much more dramatically than we do in the United States. However, what is happening in North Africa and the Middle East and in other countries is simply a harbinger of what's going to be happening in the United States.